When you think of gang violence, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'll give you a second. For many people, it's not a good thought. The first thing that comes to mind isn't a wonderful group of people, although throughout history there have been gangs that have helped people. Modern gangs, for the most part, don't do that. They don't really help or do anything productive for anyone, anywhere. Now, mind you, that's just my opinion. Feel free to educate me on any different ideas or perspectives that you have. When I think of gang violence, I think of the people that are left behind after gangs commit atrocious crimes against their communities. And I often think about the innocent bystanders that were going about their lives normally and were taken randomly due to a mistaken identity or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And today we're going to talk about one specific instance where there was a case of a mistaken identity and someone being at the wrong place at the wrong time. When we talk about Lesandro Guzman Feliz on today's episode of Learn Something New Today. Lesandro Guzman Feliz was like any other kid growing up in the New York City borough of the Bronx. The 15-year-old had his whole life ahead of him and aspirations on how he was going to fulfill his goals in life. According to friends and family, he wanted to be a police officer. He wanted to protect and serve his community. He had even gone as far as to join the NYPD cadet program to prepare him for an eventual career in law enforcement. But with many urban communities, it had the potential of being an uphill battle. But Lesandro and his family were determined for him to be successful. But within his community in the Bronx, there was a gang called Los Trinitarios. For my non-Spanish speakers, it translates to the Trinity. Now, this is an exclusive Dominican gang. As I mentioned previously in my video on Kiko Garcia, the Bronx has a very large Dominican population. It was founded in Rikers Island, the largest prison in New York City, by two men, one by the name of Leonidas Sierra and Julio Marin. They're an international gang, having locations in the Dominican Republic, Spain, New York City, Houston, and even the United Kingdom. And of course, like many gangs, their big thing is drug trafficking and extortion. And their methods of doing it are murder and assault. Honestly, if I'm reading about a gang and their big thing is drug trafficking and extortion, I don't want to hear that they're nice about getting it. That's just me. Like, if murder and assault don't come with the drug trafficking and extortion, are you really even a gang? Like, how are you getting anything done? I don't know. You're not asking your rival gang members things nicely, or are you? Maybe you're inviting them to Bible study. Listen, I'm just talking. I'm sorry. I say that to say this. Living around them was probably not very conducive towards anyone's mental health and lowering anyone's blood pressure or anxiety. But within New York City, there are thousands of people that pledge allegiance to this specific gang throughout all 5 boroughs. And the things that come along with pledging allegiance to a gang are the things that their gangs are known for. In this case, drug trafficking, murder, extortion, and assault. And this is what Lesandro lived around and what he was determined on overcoming. But on June 20th, 2018, at around 11:30 at night, Lesandro Guzman Feliz, who was 15 years old, left his apartment for the last time. He told his mother that he was going to meet with a friend, and while he was walking, he noticed that there were cars that were following him. Now, Lesandro noticed that these people were coming after him in their cars, and he, like any smart person, began running. He ran for several blocks, trying to evade whatever these people were trying to do to him or get him into. Eventually, he came across a bodega, and he ran inside. What you're about to hear is the testimony of the bodega owner, translated by myself. The guys that were behind him were already at the door and they were pushing the door. Surveillance video from the store shows a very visibly scared Lesandro Guzman running into the store frantically and jumping behind the bodega's counter, as a way of getting some sort of protection against the men that were coming to harm him, and he would never know why. You can also see the bodega owner that's very visibly confused about what's happening, trying to chase Lesandro away. And this is what the bodega owner had to say. Anyone's reaction behind the counter, seeing a person jumping on the counter without saying anything, I think we would all react like that because he didn't say anything. The next scenes are graphic, so if you are squirmish or you don't like hearing about subjects of death, consider this your only trigger warning. At this point, Junior was getting some sort of protection from the bodega owner when a man walked in and saw him. The man was later identified as 21-year-old Jose Tavares. In the video, you can see him run out and allegedly signal to other people that Junior is in there. This is when 3 other men run in. Those men would later be identified as Dan Hernandez, Kevin Alvarez, and Michael Sosa Reyes. And parked outside the bodega are the cars that chase Junior, so he is trapped in this bodega because there are 8 other men around the cars on the lookout to see if anyone tries to get away. And some of these men are armed with machetes, a tool of choice for this Caribbean gang. In the video, you can see Junior and the bodega owner arguing with Kevin Alvarez. No one really knows what they're saying, but then the next scene jumps to where the men got past the bodega owner and are beating Junior on the ground. Several men grab Lesandro and drag him outside of the bodega. Then you can see a swarm of people around him with machetes brutally stabbing him. Now, this is all video that is available on YouTube, and you can see it all in graphic detail, but it's brutal. So please, if you're squeamish, if that kind of thing bothers you, I wouldn't even entertain it. But during the entire ordeal that seemed like it lasted less than a minute, you see one man, his name is Joneki Martinez, slash Junior across the neck. Prosecutors would later say that that was the final blow that ended Junior's life. When the ordeal is done, you can see Junior get up and stumble back into the bodega. Behind him is a trail of his own blood. It seems like he's begging for something, for someone to help him. You can see the bodega owner pointing at the door, but it was later revealed that Junior was down the street from a hospital. The street cameras show Junior leaving the bodega and running down the street. He made it to the entrance of the hospital where he collapsed. In a separate video that's taken on someone's cell phone, you see a visual of Junior covered in blood in front of the hospital around 2 police officers, and they're just standing there, and Junior is drenched, completely drenched in his own blood, while his friends try to help him and the police do nothing. The officers that stood there and watched as Junior bled out were under investigation, and I wasn't able to find any information about them. But 20 minutes after that, Lesandro Junior Guzman Feliz was pronounced dead. The death of Lesandro Junior Guzman Feliz made national news, and even Bronx celebrities like Cardi B talked about it, posting a photo on Instagram with Junior's mother over his body hugging him, saying, quote, "These Bronx streets are ruthless. What pissed me off the most is that these Bronx cops be harassing the shit out of people. Then they see a boy bleeding to death and ask him what happened. How about you call the ambulance like y'all be calling the backup when you see niggas smoking in front of a building? People be like, call the police, call the police. But for what? The operators be asking for you questions for like 4 minutes on the phone with an attitude, and the cops come mad late." Now, this post on June 22nd, 2018 got 2,455,000 likes. Now, after his death, there was the funeral.
He didn't deserve that.
Even at the funeral service in Belmont for 15-year-old Lesandro Jr. Guzman Feliz, the anger was still palpable.
Protect your life. Help others to live.
The clergy denounced gang violence and shared the thoughts of Junior's mother, who did not speak at today's service.
And she is full of faith. She is full of resolve, certainly justice for Junior, but saying no to retaliation, saying no to vengeance.
Junior was remembered as a boy with a big smile who loved the Yankees. His father and others wore Yankee jerseys today for that reason.
Because of the notoriety regarding Junior's case, police started making arrest after arrest after arrest, and almost a dozen in total. The people arrested are listed as follows: Kevin Alvarez, age 19, Luis Cabrera Santos, age 25, Daniel Fernandez, age 21, Elvin Garcia, age 23, Antonio Rodriguez Hernandez, age 24, Joneki Martinez Estrella, age 24, Jose Muniz, age 21, Danilo Payamas Pacheco, age 21, Gabriel Ramirez Concepcion, age 26, Manuel Rivera, age 18, Diego Suero, age 29, Jose Tavares, age 21, Frederick Then, age 20, Ronald Ureña, age 29. On a side note, a very important side note, if you are gang banging, or I hate to use the word gang because I sound old as hell, but if you are living in a gang or doing gang activities at 29 years old, you're like a fucking loser. To me, at least. I don't know. Because there are so many things you could be doing with your life that would make your life so productive at 29 years old. And I say that as a 37-year-old that wishes I can go back in time, back to when I was 29. But I just feel like if you're doing gang activities at that age, you should rethink every priority that you have in life. Anyway, after these men were arrested, many of them were put on trial. A lot of them took plea deals as well. 5 of the suspects were convicted of murder. On June 24, 2019, the jury convicted Joneki Martinez Estrella, Manuel Rivera, Elvin Garcia, Jose Muniz, and Antonio Rodriguez Hernandez of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, gang assault, and conspiracy. And the jury unanimously was convinced that Lesandro Guzman Feliz was tortured before his death. And Michael Sosa Reyes, although he was there, was a cooperating witness and never charged as part of Junior's murder. And you would think that these gang members would be ashamed of what they did or how they went about doing things or any aspect of the murder of Junior Feliz. But there are photos showing them smiling, flashing gang symbols. It was just a fucking game to them. Like, they did not really care. The rest of the people involved took a variety of plea deals, something that did not sit right with Junior's mother.
Junior's mother, Leandra, stood in court Friday asking the judge for life sentences. Instead, Daniel Fernandez, Jose Tavares, Gabriel Ramirez Concepcion, Danilo Payams Pacheco, and Ronald Urena each received 12 to 18 years, joining 8 others already behind bars, 7 which are serving life.
I'm still waiting for the divine justice. The divine justice has to come for them too.
Later, it was discovered when they questioned the men that Lesandro wasn't even the target. It was a case of mistaken identity. And personally, I believe that he was trying to tell them that before they dragged him and beat him in the bodega. He wasn't someone that was supposed to be killed. He's supposed to still be here today. Maybe as a police officer, maybe doing some sort of law enforcement. Someone that should have been here to change his community and the world for better. And instead, his life was snuffed out. That's our episode of Learn Something New Today, a history podcast where we talk about things that are interesting and fun and sometimes tragic. I'm your host, Anthony Modesto Milian. If you like the podcast, leave a review. That's a big thing. I really want y'all to do that. Leave a review. Tell me that you like the podcast. Leave commentary, all that kind of stuff. And if you would like to support the podcast monetarily, you can support us through PayPal. You can also buy merch in the merch store. You can become a subscriber. Anything that, puts a little change in the pocket. I don't have anything else to say. This was a heavy episode, guys. So if, definitely, this was a heavy episode. The research was all done by me. The translation was done by me. And, y'all, take care of yourselves. For real. This is a really heavy world we're living in. This is a really weird time that we're living in. I promise to make the next episode a little bit more lighthearted. But, guys, I appreciate you listening. And if you're this far into it, I love you. Take care. Bye.